You know, there's a moment in all of our lives, maybe more than one, when our hearts feel too heavy, our chests feel too tight, and the world feels too loud. We try to breathe through it, we try to scroll past it, we try to numb it, and sometimes we even pretend it doesn't exist. You know, there's something about pain that we often try to run from, something about heartbreak, loss, or disappointment that makes us want to hide, scroll, distract ourselves, or even pretend it doesn't exist. But here's the truth: pain is not a sign that we are weak. Pain is a mark that we showed up, that we tried, that we loved, that we cared. And when life doesn't go the way we hoped, it hurts. It's uncomfortable, raw, and sometimes it feels unbearable. And yet, it's in those moments that our humanity is most alive. It's tempting to numb it, to swipe past it, to avoid the ache. We tell ourselves we'll be stronger if we just push it away, but avoidance never makes the hurt disappear. It only lingers, waiting for a quiet moment to whisper its truth. The first step, the bravest step, is to allow ourselves to feel it fully, to sit with it, to breathe through it, to acknowledge it, to say, yes, this hurts, yes, I'm struggling, yes, it's okay to be human. Because healing cannot begin until we recognize the wound, and then comes the slow, messy work of healing. Healing doesn't follow a calendar, it doesn't respect deadlines, it doesn't move in straight lines. There are days when you think you've made progress, and then a song, a memory, a glance, or a word takes you right back to the beginning, and that's okay. Healing is not about erasing the past. Healing is about learning to sit with it, to grow from it, to allow yourself to breathe again without the weight of it pressing on your chest. Healing is an act of patience and compassion, first for yourself and then for the world around you. And eventually, when the time is right, you let go, not of the lessons, not of the love, not even of the memories, but of the burden that has been holding you back. You stop carrying it inside you and allow yourself to step into freedom. Letting go is not forgetting. It's choosing growth over fear, light over darkness, courage over the habit of clinging. It's saying, I see what I have been through, I honor it, but I will not let it define me anymore. And in that act, you reclaim your power, your peace, your joy. What I want you to remember is that moving on is not about perfection. It's not about never feeling the hurt again. It's about showing up for yourself, practicing patience, allowing the healing to unfold, and embracing the possibility of new beginnings. It's about being brave enough to let it hurt, wise enough to let it heal, and strong enough to let it go. And when you do, you will find that life, in all its unpredictability, in all its messiness, is still profoundly beautiful, and you are more resilient than you ever imagined. There is a truth we all carry but rarely admit. Pain is part of being alive. It shows up when we least expect it, sometimes in the form of loss, disappointment, or the quiet ache of unmet expectations. And in those moments, it is easy to feel small, to question ourselves, to wonder if we are strong enough to endure. But here's the thing: the very act of feeling it, of allowing ourselves to acknowledge it, is the first step toward real strength. To turn away from pain is to turn away from life itself, because every hurt we experience is evidence that we are engaged, that we have cared, that we have loved. When we let ourselves feel, when we lean into that discomfort, something remarkable happens. We begin to recognize the depth of our own humanity. We learn that vulnerability is not weakness, it is courage in its rawest form. To sit with our hurt without trying to fix it, to hold it in our hands and say, I see you, I feel you, I honor you, is one of the bravest things we can do. Pain, when acknowledged, becomes a teacher. It teaches us empathy, patience, and the importance of self-compassion. Healing is rarely neat. It doesn't come in tidy packages or predictable timelines. It ebbs and flows like a river, sometimes gentle and sometimes overwhelming. There will be moments of progress followed by moments where the weight of the past feels unbearable, and yet this is not failure. Healing is not about perfection. It is about persistence, about showing up for ourselves every day, even when it is difficult. It is about allowing ourselves to feel both the sorrow and the small victories that come along the way. And then in time comes the most liberating part, letting go. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting or erasing the past. It doesn't mean we stop caring or stop loving. It means releasing the hold that pain has on our hearts. It means choosing freedom over fear, courage over resentment, and light over darkness. Letting go is an act of self-respect, a conscious decision to move forward while carrying the wisdom we have gained, not the weight we no longer need. What is most important to remember is that moving on is a journey, not a destination. It is messy, nonlinear, and deeply personal. There will be setbacks, but each time we rise, we reclaim a part of ourselves. We discover that resilience is built not in the absence of struggle, but in our willingness to feel deeply, to heal patiently, and to release what no longer serves us. And in doing so, we find that life, even in its unpredictability, is filled with beauty, connection, and endless possibility. There are moments in life when it feels as though everything we have built, everything we have trusted, has been shaken. The ground beneath us feels unsteady, our hearts heavy, and the future uncertain. In those moments, it's natural to want to protect ourselves, to hide, to distract, to pretend the pain isn't there. But hiding from the hurt only prolongs the struggle. True courage is not about avoiding discomfort. It's about leaning into it, facing it honestly, and allowing ourselves to experience the fullness of being human. Pain is not a sign of weakness. It is proof that we have dared to care deeply, to show up, to invest our hearts in something meaningful. And when we feel the ache of loss, disappointment, or betrayal, it is not a flaw in us. It is evidence that we are alive and capable of love. The first step toward moving on is to acknowledge the hurt, to give it a name, to sit with it, to let it speak its truth. Only when we do this can we begin the process of understanding, healing, and ultimately releasing it. Healing is not instantaneous. It does not follow a straight line. Some days we will feel lighter, more at peace, and other days the weight of the past will press down on us once again. And that is okay. Healing is messy and unpredictable because we are messy and unpredictable. It requires patience, self-compassion, and a willingness to stay present with ourselves, even when the journey feels long. Each step, no matter how small, is progress. Each moment of self-kindness is a brick in the foundation of our resilience. And when the time comes, we must learn to let go. Letting go is not forgetting, and it is not giving up on ourselves or others. It is about releasing the grip that pain and fear have on our hearts and choosing freedom instead. It is saying to ourselves, I honor what has happened. I honor the lessons learned, but I will not allow this to define me or hold me back any longer. Letting go is not easy, but it is transformative. It opens space for new possibilities, new connections, and new growth. Moving on is not about perfection, and it is not about rushing the process. It is about showing up for ourselves with courage, patience, and honesty. It is about trusting that even in the midst of struggle, life has meaning, beauty, and love to offer. And most importantly, it is about recognizing that we are stronger than we often give ourselves credit for. Every time we allow ourselves to feel, to heal, and to release, we reclaim a piece of our own power. We move closer to wholeness, to peace, and to the kind of life that is rich, vibrant, and deeply human. Life has a way of testing us in ways we never expect. Sometimes it comes in the form of loss, sometimes through failure, sometimes simply through the quiet ache of unmet expectations. And when it hits, it can feel unbearable, as though the weight of the world is pressing on our chest, and there is no relief. It is in these moments that we are often tempted to hide, to distract ourselves, to move on without truly acknowledging the pain. But what if the very thing we are running from is the thing we most need to face? There is a courage that comes from allowing ourselves to feel fully, even when it hurts. Pain is not a punishment, and it is not a sign of weakness. It is evidence that we have dared to live, to love, to care. The first step toward healing is to honor that pain, to acknowledge it without judgment, and to hold it gently rather than pushing it away. When we sit with our hurt, we create the space for understanding, for learning, and for growth. Healing is rarely straightforward. It does not follow a neat timeline, and it does not obey our plans. Some days will feel like progress, other days will feel like stepping backward. And that is okay. Healing is a process of patience, compassion, and persistence. It is about learning to be kind to ourselves, to forgive ourselves for the moments we stumble, and to recognize that even in the struggle, we are moving forward. Each step, no matter how small, is meaningful, and every act of self-compassion is a quiet victory. Eventually, there comes a moment when we are ready to let go. Letting go is not about forgetting, and it is not about erasing what has happened. It is about releasing the hold that pain, fear, or resentment has over our hearts. Letting go is an act of courage. It is saying, I acknowledge what has been, I honor what I have learned, but I will not let this define me anymore. It opens the door to freedom, to joy, and to the possibility of new experiences that were previously blocked by the weight we carried. Moving on is not about perfection, and it is not about rushing the process. It is about showing up for ourselves with honesty and bravery. It is about trusting the journey, even when the path is unclear. It is about knowing that our resilience is built not in the absence of pain, but in our willingness to feel deeply, heal patiently, and release intentionally. And when we do, we discover that life, in all its messiness and unpredictability, is still filled with beauty, love, and meaning. Each act of courage, each step forward, is a testament to our capacity to endure, to grow, and to thrive. There comes a point in life when the weight of our experiences feels too heavy to carry. Maybe it's a loss we didn't see coming, a relationship that ended, or a dream that fell apart. In those moments, it's tempting to hide from the pain, to distract ourselves, or to convince ourselves that we will feel better if we ignore it. But here's the truth, running from pain only prolongs it. True courage is not about avoiding discomfort. It's about showing up fully, feeling deeply, and allowing ourselves to experience life as it comes. Pain is not weakness. It is proof that we have dared to care, to love, to invest our hearts. When we acknowledge the hurt instead of pushing it away, we are giving ourselves the gift of awareness. Naming the pain, sitting with it, and facing it honestly is the first step toward healing. It allows us to understand our emotions, to recognize patterns, and to find clarity amidst the chaos. It is in these moments of vulnerability that we discover strength we didn't know we had. Healing is not a straight path. It doesn't follow a schedule or a set of rules. Some days will feel lighter, more peaceful, and other days the weight of the past will press down on us again. And that's okay. Healing is a process, not an event. It requires patience, self-compassion, and the willingness to embrace the messy, unpredictable nature of life. Each small step forward, each moment of self-kindness is progress. Each time we allow ourselves to feel without judgment, we are practicing resilience. Eventually, there comes a moment when we are ready to let go. Letting go is not about forgetting or pretending the past didn't matter. It is about releasing the grip that fear, resentment, or regret has over us. Letting go is an act of courage and liberation. It allows us to reclaim our energy, our focus, and our joy. It is a conscious choice to move forward while honoring the lessons we have learned. It is the act of saying, I acknowledge what has happened, I am grateful for the growth it brought me, and now I choose freedom over carrying this weight any longer. Moving on is not about perfection, nor is it about rushing the process. It is about showing up for ourselves, embracing vulnerability, and trusting in our ability to endure. Life will continue to challenge us, but each time we allow ourselves to feel, to heal, and to release, we grow stronger. We realize that resilience is not built in the absence of struggle, but in our willingness to face it head on, and in that courage, we discover that life, even with all its uncertainty and messiness, is filled with beauty, connection, and the possibility of new beginnings. There are moments in life when the world feels heavy, when our hearts ache in ways we cannot explain, and when every step forward feels impossible. In those moments, it's natural to want to hide, to distract ourselves, to push the pain aside. But hiding from it doesn't make it disappear. The truth is that our discomfort is not a sign that we are failing. It is proof that we are alive, that we have cared, and that we have loved. And it is in the very act of facing that discomfort that we begin to reclaim our strength. Pain is not weakness. It is evidence of living fully. It is the imprint of courage, the courage to love, to trust, to risk. When we allow ourselves to feel it, to name it, and to sit with it honestly, we begin to understand the depth of our own humanity. We begin to see that vulnerability is not a flaw, but a doorway to growth, connection, and resilience. Each tear we shed, each moment of discomfort we face, is a sign that we are showing up for ourselves. Healing is rarely a straight line. It doesn't follow a calendar or a plan, and it doesn't always move at the pace we want it to. Some days will feel lighter, and some days the weight of the past will press on us again. And that is okay. Healing is not about perfection, it is about persistence. It is about the small, steady acts of self-compassion, the gentle reminders that we are enough, and the courage to keep moving forward, even when the path is unclear. Healing is about honoring our emotions while learning to release the hold they have over us, and then comes the moment, or perhaps the series of moments, when we are ready to let go. Letting go is not about forgetting or pretending the past did not matter. It is about releasing the grip of fear, resentment, and pain that keeps us anchored in the past. Letting go is a conscious, courageous choice to reclaim our energy and embrace freedom. It is saying, I honor what I have been through, I am grateful for what it has taught me, and now I choose to move forward. Letting go opens the door to joy, to growth, and to new possibilities that were previously blocked by the weight we carried. Moving on is not easy. It is not about speed or perfection. It is about showing up for ourselves each day, embracing vulnerability, and trusting the process. It is about believing that our resilience grows not in the absence of struggle, but through our willingness to face it, heal through it, and release it intentionally. And in that courage, in that commitment to ourselves, we discover that life, even in all its uncertainty and messiness, remains rich with beauty, connection, and endless possibility. Each step forward, each act of letting go, is a testament to the strength and depth of our humanity. So if you're listening to this today and you feel tired, maybe even defeated, let me remind you of something. You have survived every hard thing you've ever faced. You are still here. That means the hurt didn't win. The healing began, and right now you are on the threshold of letting go. You're not behind, you aren't late, you're exactly where you need to be. And in this messy, beautiful human process called life, that is enough. Thank you.